Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee. We've been talking about this vehicle for quite a long time on Mopar Insiders. Actually, we've been showing spy photos of it for over the last year. And the funny thing was, it was actually technically, this update was supposed to be a 2025 model. However, they've been having issues with the new electrical architecture, just like they did with the Ram 1500, so they've kind of pushed it back to 2026. However, today we actually got our first acknowledgement from Jeep about this new vehicle, or refreshed vehicle is what I say it is. But anyways, it's kind of exciting because, again, we're going to talk about it in a second. But you can see just recently, back in April, I posted pictures of the two-row. This is a Summit Reserve model. You can tell because of the wheels. So this is the premium luxury model. And this was out testing in Metro Detroit. And you can see that obviously they have camouflage up on the front bumpers and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of design change difference, at least what we can tell with the camouflage. It kind of looked like it was adopting, obviously, a new grille design, but mainly it looked like it was adopting the kind of front end from the Grand Cherokee L. However, today we're learning it's not. It's going to have a completely different front end, at least. So anyways, the other news at that time that we learned was it was gaining these new stereo units, kind of like what the Wagoneer and Wagoneer S have. So now they have haptic buttons on the side, but there's some tech changes, and that goes hand in hand with one of the issues that they're actually having issues with is the new electrical architecture. Just like the Ram 1500, you might remember Carlos Tavares fired 2% of the North American workforce, mainly software engineers and electrical engineers from Auburn Hills. So again, everything that they had to do with all these new launches of vehicles with an all-new electrical architecture has been kind of pushed back. So that explains why we're seeing this vehicle pushed back as well. It's also getting a new lineup of engines, and that's been very controversial as well. When we broke the news that they were actually getting rid of the Pentastar V6 and going to a lineup of basically this new 2-liter turbo version of the GME T4 engine, which is also known as the Hurricane 4, but this is the Evo version. They're actually going to have a standard output and a high output. But what we've heard from our sources is that this one will actually get the standard output. So basically what we're hearing is about the same kind of output that the Pentastar is, but it's going to be obviously the new GME T4 engine. So you're going to have about 300 horsepower. And, you know, we don't know the torque numbers just yet, but realistically, it should be kind of on par with the Ford Explorer ST. So if you look at the vehicle size comparisons against the Explorer Net, it should be right on par with that. But a lot of people have been upset. A lot of people have said, hey, you know, is the Hemi coming back? Because we know that Hemi's coming back to the Ram 1500. We haven't heard nothing about a 5.7 Hemi coming back to the Grand Cherokee just yet. We have heard that they were talking about bringing the Pentastar back just as a safe point, but we haven't gotten any confirmation on it just yet. So with that being said, today I posted this. Some new spy images of another, basically a Summit Reserve, but this one is a high altitude model. The Summit Reserve, you can get a darkened package, and it's basically called the high altitude. But anyways, you can tell because of the wheels and stuff on that. But that wasn't the big news. The big news was that today, Jeep actually released a teaser video on their social media on Facebook, kind of showing the front end and showing some of the interior, but just in a quick couple of shots. And then we're also seeing that this part here, which we thought was looking just like the Grand Cherokee L, is going to be very open. It's going to be a huge open area. It's going to look pretty different. I've seen a lot of comments already, people complaining about the looks on it and stuff like that. But let's take a look at the video real quick, and we'll talk about its design. So as you can see, this is a Grand Cherokee L. I'm not going to do the music, but you can see, I'll show you some of the kind of different changes in the vehicle's design. So we got a very quick kind of look at the interior and a quick shot of the exterior. So again, the big changes up front are the new headlamps and the new front bumper design, which we can see right here. See if I can stop it. So you can see it's very much open. And while it does have the same kind of space that the DRL or the actual the lights in the Grand Cherokee L have, the front bumper is drastically different. It has this kind of weird big opening. A lot of people have been complaining about it. And then if you look here, this is the DRL up top, but this is actually chrome. This looks like to be chrome down here. So instead of being another piece of the DRL, that's the hard part about these teaser images, because you can see that they're actually shooting a projection on top of it, and it makes it kind of hard to see. We do see that grille that we've seen in the spy shots, but it looks like they're reflective LED headlamps. And then again, we can't tell if this is part of the LED or if it's part of the chrome. I think it's part of the chrome grille, but a lot of people are complaining about this front end already. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they go forward with the design when we actually get to see the vehicle unveiled. But this is a Summit model. You can see that it has the same wheels as those the two vehicles that we've seen out testing. And then if we go to the interior shots, which is right here, you can see that the top part of the stereo system where the buttons are still physical buttons up here. And again, this is like pretty low quality pictures, but you can see that they remain, but the actual surround bezel is different. And then here we get to see that the all new stereo system. So it's got those buttons, those haptic buttons, and it still has big turn knobs just like the Wagoneer S. But again, they're getting rid of a lot of their buttons. Instead, we get this bank of buttons underneath that are all those haptic buttons. So a lot of people love the physical buttons. A lot of people love the physical buttons, including myself. That was one of the big things that Chrysler had going on compared to the rest of the manufacturers who were going to these haptic buttons. But we've seen with the Dodge Charger Daytona, Wagoneer S, and now the vehicles like the Grand Cherokee, that they're going to this more haptic button kind of take. Yeah, it looks futuristic, but I know a lot of people actually like to have physical buttons. So it's going to be a weird change. And it looks like they're going to continue it on throughout all their refreshes. So again, we've already seen problems with the Dodge Charger Daytona with the 2024 models actually having issues with them to the point where dealers have to basically pull the whole entire dash apart to replace just that physical button pad. So we'll see how it works. But nonetheless, I think it's one of those things that people are complaining about, that it's new technology, but people want the old trusted technology that you can guarantee that will work. They're putting way too much technology in these vehicles. Another big thing that we've actually been talking about too is we've seen Jeep over the last few years constantly go more and more premium. And a lot of people are just saying that they love the Grand Cherokee back when it made its debut in 1992. You know, they love the last generation, the WK2 vehicles, very much. But the WL ones, a lot of people have been complaining, at least on Mopar Insiders and even our old WL Jeep Forum website, that, you know, the new Grand Cherokees are just simply too expensive. Even with a starting price of down around $40,000, people are saying, you know, it wasn't that long ago you can get a well-equipped Jeep Grand Cherokee for $45,000. And now you're having to step up to about $55,000, almost $60,000 to get something properly equipped. So Jeep really has to fix that. We know that they've been lowering prices and stuff, but the thing is people want affordable Jeep vehicles. Jeep has become this premium brand that it really wasn't ever intended to be. It was more of the blue-collar adventure brand. And I think Jeep's kind of lost that translation. They're looking to be more of a Land Rover brand, and obviously sales are showing that they almost went from 1 million sales back not that long ago to only about 600,000 sales in the US. So it's shown that a lot of people aren't going to buy these like very expensive vehicles. Something like this Summit Reserve high altitude model runs almost to $80,000 depending on how it's equipped. So that's the thing. They have to take and look at what this new 2026 model, you know, range is going to be and actually effectively adjust the prices. Because I think a lot of people are more upset about the pricing and all the new tech. Like, no one really cares about a passenger screen, and at least from what I've been seeing, because it adds price to the vehicle. So Jeep's got their hands full. We've seen a lot of positive things about the new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and we've seen a lot of negative things. So hopefully Jeep will get those ironed out. We'll be seeing this vehicle later this year, and I guarantee me or somebody else that's a spy photographer will be out there looking for this vehicle probably this next week, because what Jeep has said is that the reason why they kind of leaked this out is because they wanted to make sure that they're going to take this minor camouflage that's on the front of the vehicles off within the next week and start final validation testing. Final validation testing goes into the stages just before they start production. So again, we're going to be able to see those new front ends, and hopefully we catch them like we did this one, so you can actually see them, in high definition instead of these pictures that are like projected on the vehicle and we can't tell like actual details. So hopefully in the next week, I'll be on here showing you new pictures of the Grand Cherokee for 2026. So let me know what you think about the new Grand Cherokee down below. Make sure to hit thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.